In the hushed stillness of our bedroom, the words fell from Mark's lips like a guillotine's blade. You should go to Hawaii by yourself. His voice, devoid of warmth, sliced through the air, severing the last thread of hope I clung to. My name is Emily Carter. At 30, I had believed I found stability in Mark Anderson, my partner of 6 years. But tonight, the mask fell, revealing the ugly truth. I stood there, a mix of disbelief and burgeoning fury coursing through me. Are you serious, Mark? My voice barely rose above a whisper. Our honeymoon is tomorrow, and you say this? Mark avoided my gaze, his fingers nervously drumming on the kitchen counter. I can't hide it anymore, Em. I've been seeing someone else. The confession hit me like a tidal wave, yet in the oddest way, it made sense. The late nights, the secretive phone calls, the growing distance between us. How could I have been so blind? Who is she? The question escaped my lips, a part of me not wanting to know. It doesn't matter. What matters is I can't go with you. His nonchalant dismissal of our years together ignited a fire within me. The pain of betrayal was acute, but beneath it lay an ember of rage, fanned into life by his callousness. You're choosing her over me, over us? I fought to keep my voice steady. Mark sighed, a sound that spoke of annoyance rather than remorse. I guess I am. The starkness of his admission was a slap in the face. 6 years of love, companionship, and shared dreams, all reduced to nothing in a single conversation. Fine, I said, my voice laced with a coldness I didn't know I possessed. Enjoy your new life, Mark. I hope she's worth it. I turned on my heel and strode to our bedroom, each step fueled by a growing determination. If Mark thought he could discard me so easily, he was sorely mistaken. The pain he inflicted tonight wouldn't go unanswered. As I packed my suitcase, my mind raced. The honeymoon to Hawaii, a trip meant for two, now a solitary venture. A bitter laugh escaped me. Perhaps this was the universe's twisted way of granting me freedom. The night wore on, the silence of our apartment punctuated by the sound of my packing. Mark didn't come to the bedroom, nor did I expect him to. The man I loved or thought I loved was a stranger now. By dawn, my suitcase stood ready by the door, a symbolic severance of my ties with Mark. As I looked around the room, a room that once harbored dreams of a shared future, I felt a resolve solidify within me. Mark Anderson, you will regret this night. This isn't just a trip to Hawaii anymore. It's the beginning of your downfall. As the plane soared towards Hawaii, I, Emily Carter, sat gazing at the cloud-strewn sky, my thoughts a tumultuous storm. The seat beside me, meant for Mark, stood as a glaring reminder of the betrayal that had set me on this journey. In the confined space of the airplane, memories of Mark and me swirled around, mocking me with their sweetness turned sour. I remembered our first meeting, the laughter-filled dates, the day he proposed. Each memory, once cherished, now felt like shards of glass piercing my heart. But amidst the pain, a plan was taking shape. A plan not just of moving on, but of ensuring Mark felt a fraction of the pain he had inflicted on me. It was not just about revenge, it was about justice. The flight attendant's voice jolted me back to reality. Would you like anything to drink, ma'am? Just water, thank you, I replied, my voice steadier than I felt. As she moved away, my phone buzzed. It was Mark. I see you're still going to Hawaii, his text read, a trace of accusation in his words. I typed back, my fingers steady. Yes, Mark, you made your choice, and I've made mine. You're being dramatic. We can talk about this when you're back, he replied, the audacity of his message igniting my anger further. There's nothing left to talk about. Enjoy your life with her. I hit send and turned off my phone. I wasn't going to let Mark disrupt my thoughts any longer. As the plane descended into Hawaii, a plan crystallized in my mind. I would use this trip not just for healing, but to set the stage for Mark's comeuppance. He would learn that actions have consequences, and sometimes those consequences strike where it hurts the most. I checked into the hotel, a beautiful beachfront property that should have been the setting for our honeymoon. Now it was the backdrop for the unraveling of my former life and the weaving of a new narrative. That evening, as the Hawaiian sunset painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, I sat on the beach, my phone in hand. It was time to initiate my plan. I began with a simple post on social media, a picture of the sunset with a caption that hinted at new beginnings and unexpected turns. The post was ambiguous, but I knew it would stir curiosity among our friends and family. I wanted Mark to feel the eyes of our shared world on him, questioning, doubting. It was the first step in showing him that his actions would not remain hidden in the shadows. I spent the next few days exploring Hawaii, each activity a bittersweet experience. Kayaking, hiking, lounging on the beach, I did it all, documenting my solo journey on social media, my posts a mix of subtle jabs and overt displays of my newfound independence. One evening, as I dined alone in a cozy restaurant, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Mark's sister, Laura. "Emily, are you okay? Your posts seem off. Is everything all right with you and Mark?" I stared at the message, a part of me feeling guilty for worrying her. But this was a necessary part of my plan. Mark's facade had to crumble, and it had to start from within his circle. "Hey, Laura, thanks for checking in. Let's just say life has thrown me some unexpected curves. I'll explain more when I'm back. Hope you're well." As I sent the message, I knew it would set the rumor mill in motion. Laura, caring and concerned, would undoubtedly share her worries with others. Mark's betrayal, once a painful stab in my heart, was now the weapon I wielded with precision. In the days that followed, I felt a transformation within me. With each post, each step I took alone in Hawaii, I was shedding the skin of the woman who loved and trusted Mark Anderson. In her place stood someone stronger, fiercer, and ready to ensure that karma was not just a concept, but a reality that Mark would soon face. The Hawaiian sun cast its warm glow over the ocean, a stark contrast to the cold resolve in my heart. Emily Carter, once a believer in fairy tale endings, now played the lead in a tale of deceit and retribution. As I sipped my coffee at a seaside cafe, my phone buzzed with a text from Mark. His words, filled with feigned concern, only fueled my resolve. "Emily, we need to talk. I'm worried about you." With a wry smile, I texted back, "There's nothing to worry about, Mark. I'm enjoying Hawaii, just like you're probably enjoying your time with her." His quick response, laced with frustration, didn't surprise me. "This is ridiculous, Em. You're blowing this out of proportion." "Am I?" I typed, my fingers moving deftly across the screen. "Or maybe you're just beginning to realize the consequences of your actions." I hit send and turned off my phone, unwilling to let Mark's words disrupt the plan I had meticulously crafted. The cafe's serene ambiance provided the perfect backdrop for plotting my next move. It was time for Mark to feel the sting of betrayal, just as I had. Over the next few days, I executed my plan with precision. I contacted a lawyer to start the legal separation process and gathered evidence of Mark's infidelity. Every step I took was a calculated move to dismantle the life we had built together, piece by piece. One evening, as I strolled along the beach, I paused to watch a couple laughing together by the water's edge. A pang of sadness hit me, but it was quickly replaced by a surge of empowerment. I was no longer the victim in this story. I was the architect of my own destiny. I made my way back to the hotel and logged onto my laptop. It was time to take my plan public. I drafted a post, a beautifully worded piece that spoke of new beginnings and the courage to walk away from what no longer served me. The post was cryptic, yet its underlying message was clear. I was moving on from Mark, and I was doing it with grace and strength. Within minutes of hitting post, the responses flooded in. Words of encouragement, support, and even curiosity about what had prompted such a change. Among the sea of comments, one caught my eye. It was from a mutual friend, asking if everything was okay between me and Mark. I replied, my words carefully chosen to fuel the speculation without revealing too much. Life has a way of revealing truths we never expected. Mark and I are figuring things out. As I closed my laptop, a sense of satisfaction washed over me. The seeds of doubt were planted, and soon they would sprout, entangling Mark in a web of his own making. The following day, as I prepared to leave Hawaii, I felt a mix of emotions. The island had been a sanctuary, a place where I rediscovered my strength, but it was also the starting point of my journey towards justice. As the plane ascended, leaving the Hawaiian shores behind, I looked out the window, my thoughts clear and focused. Mark's betrayal had set me on this path, but it was my own resilience that would see me through. I was returning home, not as the broken-hearted fiancé, but as a woman reborn from the ashes of her past. Mark Anderson's day of reckoning was just beginning. Back in my hometown, the familiarity of the streets did little to soothe the tumult in my heart. The plane's descent had been a metaphorical landing back into the reality of my shattered life. But Emily Carter was no longer the same woman who had boarded that flight to Hawaii. She was now a woman on a mission. The first thing I did upon returning was to visit my lawyer. The office, with its sterile, professional ambiance, was a stark reminder of the legal battle that lay ahead. But I was ready. "Miss Carter, I've reviewed the evidence you sent over. We have a strong case for infidelity," the lawyer stated, his tone clinical. I nodded, my resolve unwavering. I want to ensure that the divorce settlement reflects the gravity of his betrayal. "We'll do everything we can," he assured me. As I left the office, my phone rang. It was Mark. His name on the screen no longer stirred feelings of love but of disdain. "Emily, where the hell are you?" Mark's voice was laced with anger and confusion. "I'm taking care of things, Mark. Something you should have thought of before cheating," I retorted, my voice calm, yet icy. "This is crazy, Em. You're overreacting," he shot back. "Overreacting? No, Mark. I am reacting appropriately to a man who thought he could have his cake and eat it too," I said, my words sharp. There was a pause, and I could almost hear the cogs turning in his deceitful mind. "Let's just talk about this. We can fix it," he pleaded, a note of desperation creeping into his voice. "There's nothing left to fix, Mark. You broke it beyond repair," I said and hung up. The following days were a whirlwind of activity. I reached out to our mutual friends, subtly revealing the truth behind our separation. The news spread like wildfire, painting Mark as the villain he was. I also took to social media, posting pictures and updates that showcased my newfound independence. Each post was a carefully crafted jab at Mark's ego, a public display of my resilience and his downfall. But the true masterstroke came when I decided to sell the items we had bought together. The car, the furniture, the little trinkets that symbolized our life as a couple, all were put up for sale. It was a clear message to Mark. Our shared life was being dismantled, piece by piece. The day Mark found out about the sale, his reaction was explosive. He called, his voice a mixture of rage and disbelief. "You're selling our things? What the hell, Emily? They're my things, Mark, and I'm reclaiming my life, one piece at a time," I replied, my tone unwavering. "This is insane. You're destroying everything we had," he accused. "We had nothing, Mark. You saw to that when you decided to cheat," I said, and ended the call. As I lay in bed that night, the silence of my apartment was a stark reminder of the solitude that now defined my life. But there was also a sense of empowerment, a realization that with each passing day, I was moving further away from the pain and closer to a future of my own making. Mark Anderson had thought he could break me, but in his betrayal, he had unwittingly forged a stronger, more determined Emily Carter, a woman who would not rest until she had her due. The morning sun cast a golden glow over the city as I, Emily Carter, walked through the streets with a newfound purpose. The air felt different, charged with the electricity of impending change. Today was not just another day. It was the day I would set the final act of my plan into motion. I arrived at a quaint cafe, the perfect spot to meet with an old friend and a crucial ally in my scheme against Mark. As I sipped my coffee, waiting, I reflected on how far I had come. The pain of betrayal still lingered, but it was now overshadowed by a fierce determination. "Emily, it's been too long," greeted Lisa, a mutual friend of Mark and me, and unknowingly, a key player in my plan. "Lisa, thank you for meeting me," I said, my voice tinged with feigned distress. "What's going on, Em? You've seemed off lately," Lisa inquired, her concern evident. I took a deep breath, ready to spin the narrative. "It's Mark. I found out he's been unfaithful. I'm devastated, Lisa." The shock on Lisa's face was genuine. "Mark? But he always seemed so devoted to you." "That's what I thought too. But he's been seeing someone else behind my back," I said, letting a tear slip for effect. Lisa reached out, her hand clasping mine. "I'm so sorry, Emily. How can I help?" "Just be there for me, Lisa, and maybe keep this between us. I don't want to cause a scene. I just need support right now," I said, knowing full well that Lisa's nature wouldn't allow her to stay silent. "Of course, Emily. You can count on me," she assured me. As we parted ways, I knew Lisa would spread the news, igniting the flames of my revenge. She was the perfect unwitting messenger, her social connections a network through which the story of Mark's betrayal would travel fast. Over the next few days, I watched as the effects of my carefully crafted narrative began to unfold. Our mutual friends started to distance themselves from Mark, their social media interactions with him dwindling. Whispers of his infidelity spread, tainting his reputation. Meanwhile, I continued to present myself as the wronged yet dignified ex-fiancé. My social media posts were a blend of subtle hints at my personal turmoil and showcases of my newfound independence. Each post was a calculated move in the intricate chess game I was playing with Mark's facade. Then came the day when I learned that Mark had been passed over for a promotion at work, a direct result of the rumors that now clouded his professional image. It was a significant blow, one that would have been unthinkable just a few months ago. But now it was a reality, a testament to the power of reputation and the consequences of one's actions. As I sat in my apartment that evening, my phone rang. It was Mark, his voice a cocktail of anger and desperation. "Emily, what the hell have you been telling people? My life is falling apart." "Is it, Mark? Maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to betray me," I responded, my voice calm but firm. "You're ruining me, Emily. This isn't fair," he protested. "Fair? You want to talk about fair? You cheated, Mark. You made your bed, and now you have to lie in it," I said. The call ended with Mark's frustrated silence, a clear sign that my message had hit home. I lay back on my couch, a sense of vindication filling me. This was more than revenge. This was justice. Mark was finally reaping what he had sown, and I, Emily Carter, was the architect of his downfall. The cool evening breeze wafted through my apartment, carrying with it a sense of triumph. The walls, once a symbol of shared dreams with Mark, now stood as a testament to my newfound strength. I, Emily Carter, had turned the tables, and the sweet taste of revenge was more satisfying than I had imagined. As I poured myself a glass of wine, my phone buzzed with an incoming call. It was Mark, his name flashing on the screen like a beacon of his desperation. "Emily, we need to talk. This has gone too far," he said, his voice strained. I took a sip of my wine, savoring its richness. "Talk? What's there to talk about, Mark? You made your choices, and now you're facing the consequences. You've destroyed my reputation, Emily. My friends, my job, everything is falling apart because of these rumors," he accused, his voice laced with bitterness. "Rumors? Mark, the truth has a way of coming out. You can't hide from what you've done," I replied coolly. "This isn't you, Emily. This vindictiveness, it's not you," he pleaded. I laughed, a short, sharp sound. "You'd be surprised, Mark. Betrayal changes people. You should know. You're the expert." The line went silent for a moment. "I'll make it right, Emily. Please, let's just put this behind us," he begged. I shook my head, even though he couldn't see it. "It's too late for that, Mark. You've shown your true colors, and I've shown mine. This is the end of our story." With that, I ended the call, cutting off any further pleas from Mark. The sense of empowerment was exhilarating. For too long, I had been the victim of his deceit, but now I was the author of his downfall. Over the following days, I watched as Mark's social circle shrunk, his friends distancing themselves as the truth of his infidelity spread. His professional life, too, suffered, with the missed promotion being just the beginning of his career troubles. But the most satisfying part was yet to come. Through a mutual acquaintance, I learned that Mark's affair partner had left him, unable to handle the public scrutiny and the reality of being with a man of tarnished reputation. Mark was left alone, a pariah in the life he had chosen over me. As I sat in my living room, the walls no longer felt oppressive. They were my sanctuary, a place where I had rebuilt myself from the ashes of a broken heart. I had taken back control of my life, and in doing so had ensured that Mark felt the full weight of his betrayal. The journey had been painful, fraught with moments of doubt and anguish. But as I looked back, I realized it was necessary. It had led me to a place of strength and independence, a place where I could finally close the chapter on Mark Anderson and look forward to a future of my own making. Emily Carter, once the betrayed fiancée, was now a woman reborn, a woman who had faced her demons and emerged victorious. The sweet taste of revenge lingered, a reminder that sometimes justice is served not in the courts, but through the actions of those who refuse to be broken. The journey of revenge had reached its end, but for me, a new chapter was just beginning. Sitting at my kitchen table with a cup of coffee, I reflected on the transformation that had taken place. The pain of Mark's betrayal, once a consuming fire, had now dwindled to a mere flicker in the story of my life. My phone rang, breaking the morning's tranquility. It was a call from Laura, Mark's sister. I hesitated for a moment before answering. "Emily, I heard about everything." Laura's voice was tinged with sadness. "I'm sorry for what Mark did to you." I sighed softly. "Thank you, Laura. It's been a tough journey, but I think it was necessary." "Mark's a mess, Emily. He's lost so much, his friends, his reputation. I never thought he'd be capable of something like this," she said, her voice filled with disbelief. "I didn't either, Laura, but we often don't see the true colors of a person until we're forced to," I replied, my tone resolute. There was a pause filled with unspoken words and shared pain. "I hope you find happiness, Emily. You deserve it," Laura finally said. "Thank you, Laura. I wish the same for you," I replied, ending the call with a sense of closure. As the day progressed, I busied myself with work and plans for the future. The lessons I had learned from my ordeal with Mark had reshaped my perspective on life and love. Trust, once freely given, would now be earned, and the scars of betrayal, while healed, would always serve as a reminder of my strength. My social media, once a battleground of subtle jabs and public displays of independence, now showcased a woman embracing her new life. Photos of my travels, moments of professional success, and gatherings with true friends painted the picture of a life rebuilt from the ashes of betrayal. In the weeks that followed, I heard snippets of Mark's struggles through mutual acquaintances. His attempts to salvage his reputation were met with cold shoulders, and his professional life continued to suffer. The man who once held my heart was now a mere shadow, a cautionary tale of the consequences of infidelity and deceit. But as I looked out of my window, watching the city bustle below, I realized that Mark Anderson's story was no longer mine to dwell on. I had moved on, leaving him and the pain he caused in the past. I turned my gaze to the horizon, where the sky met the cityscape in a promise of endless possibilities. Emily Carter, once a victim, was now a victor, her spirit unbroken, and her heart open to the adventures that lay ahead. The journey of revenge had ended, but my journey of self-discovery and growth was just beginning. And as I stepped out into the world, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, I had the strength and resilience to face them head-on.